let's go ahead and jump into our second series of the day. This is the Group A Code A qualifier between these two players. Spawning in the bottom right, our red Protoss player. This is Parting.
And spawning in the top left side, Team Envy's new Protoss in a way, right? It's the blue Protoss player, SOS.
It's so weird hearing the word new and SOS in like the same sentence because SOS has just been around for so long. But yeah, you're right. Joining Team Envy, how recent has it been? Do you know?
Yeah, I think it's like a month now, maybe two months, something like that. I mean, it in terms of StarCraft 2, that's like, you know, a day, really.
True.
StarCraft 2 time.
Yeah, it's a lot has just been evolving and reshaping the StarCraft 2 landscape, which admittedly very, very exciting. We're in year 2 of the 3-year extension with like DreamHack and ESL and GSL committing to more events. And they could go a lot of different ways. We could see some of the events starting to sunset and not being renewed, but in fact, it seems to be the opposite, Kozan. We're getting more opportunities. We're getting big sponsors to jump in to support the scene. It feels like an alive game.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a game where, right, it has such a tight community because it was, well, pretty much the esports that made esports a thing in the Western world, at least. And you know, it's something that is recalling to people's their memories, their childhoods. There's usually some. If you're into esports, you've probably seen some StarCraft 2 overall, unless if you're just completely new to the scene and you came in before, right before StarCraft 2 was the thing.
That's true. That's fair. Parting is gonna have a bit of the Stargate proxy right now. I like that. I think this is a good place to start here. SOS is kind of playing a little bit more standard. He is getting aggressive with the opening adepts, so trying to find some value out across the map, but it's going to be the lack of a nexus here that SOS will immediately spot and should start ringing some alarm bells. However, Parting is doing his best to try and mitigate a little bit of that scouting damage. A couple of adepts of his own. SOS is going to start his own Stargate, but it's back at home. So will the timing be enough to be able to secure a little bit of damage?
Yeah, an Oracle coming up. That will be a shield battery here. That should be done in time for SOS. So that's a good start. There's natural base, nothing there to mine yet. So again, a good thing for him, right? Might indicate that he's not going to lose too many probes here.
At least it's going to force out the second Oracle, and more times than not, that usually is just an automatic. Yeah, it's already queued up, ready to go. So the second Oracle will be able to swing in. That will create more damage here as 2 Oracles are able to one-tap those workers before the shield battery can even provide any assistance. So SOS should be able to see a little bit of this happening right now. Is going to be moving across the map with a sizable amount of adepts. Looks like he's got, what, 7 already in position. And Parting is not really defending the front side of his main base. He might be trying to bait some of this in, but instead it does look like he is sitting back at home waiting for potential pressure to come in. Oracle gets called back as well, and I'm curious to see what's actually going to happen up here. It's a big shade forward here, Kozan.
Quite an interesting one here, going for the Stalkers and such. Nice blocking from his own units there, I suppose, by Parting, negating all these adepts' entrance into the main. And yeah, that's a pretty good hold, but looking at the scoreboards right now, there's still a distinct difference in those workers after losing 6 of them. That is quite a lot, isn't it? That is quite a little bit too many.
It's a good amount of damage so far, but it's a matter of whether or not the damage can be extended here as well. And with the Phoenix in play, that does make things much more complicating. These Adepts are going to be able to shade up and back once again. They are going to try and possibly leap forward, but they decide not to at this point. The Phoenix are going to wrap around and find a little bit more damage, but Parting already trying to get set up into a bit of a tech path here. Picking up charge, it's about halfway done. I'm a little surprised it's not Blink Stalkers, though, especially with how many Phoenix are out on the map.
Yeah, the charge upgrade is most likely eyeing to go quicker into the Zealot army. What do you think?
I mean, that seems to be the case. It almost has to be at this point. Looking at the situation going, okay, I've lost quite a few of those workers already, 11 in total. Now how can I find a way to get that to mitigating damage? He drops a gateway over in the left-hand corner of the map, so he has a bit more proxy access to the opposite side of the map. But these Phoenix are just going to create so much crowd control. I guess essentially the Phoenix are not going to be as effective if he wants to go into a large amount of Zealots. But again, it comes at the cost of being able to defend against so much of this Phoenix harassment. He loses more and more of those workers. 5 more workers have gone down. And there aren't even that many Zealots. Are there even any? None. There are 0 Zealots at this point. Okay, he did change out and now picks up Blink. Oh, this feels like indecision of somebody who's like, I don't know what to do, and now I'm doubting myself. Oh, Kozan, the Dark Shrine goes down, but is that even going to be enough?
Yeah, maybe he just didn't realize that it was such a commitment onto the Phoenix afterwards. So now making the call to go more heavily into the Stalkers instead. Goes across the map and finds himself an Immortal, a lot of Stalkers there. Well, actually only 2 now. It's a shield battery as well. This could still be winnable for Parting as long as he targets down the right stuff, but there's the Phoenix now. Now it's no longer winnable, really.
Now, this is an unfortunate situation. Oh my gosh, the Oracle gets the stasis trap of the century, though, which is a bit confusing, but despite that, it just is it's just putting a timer on the death animation. SOS with a great hold here takes game number 1.
All right, that is going to be the blue Protoss player. He is fighting for Team NV, and his name is 3 simple letters. It's an S and an O and another S. SOS.
I'm spawning in the top right. Trying to find a win in this best of 3. It's our red Protoss player. This is Parting of the Sugar Bear clan.
Sugar Bear crew.
Oh, there we go.
Well, I think he also calls him his love puppies or something like that, right?
Ah, yes. I feel like he just cycles
Cuddle
through
puppies.
a lot of things. Yeah. The Sugar Bears, the Love Puppies, probably like combines those two, like the Love Bears and the Sugar Puppies.
The cotton candy kittens. The cotton candy kittens.
Ooh, I like that one. That's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
That one's got a ring to it. Okay, interesting opening choices here by both of our players. Instead of going into 2 gateway before cyber, both of our players choosing one gate, 1 cyber, and it's a gas steal by SOS. What do you make of this, Kozan?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was on there for a little bit. It kind of forces Parting to spend that money elsewhere, right? So that is going to be that Nexus kind of was already his intention, perhaps already anyway. But it also causes SOS to be a little bit safer with a single gateway opening here. And then just straight up into proxy Stargates. All right, interesting.
Oh, this is brutal. Parting immediately knows that something's coming up here. Has he had a chance? No, he doesn't know what's happening in the 3rd base location right now, this proxy Stargate. But with that gas steal, you have to know that there's going to be aggression coming your way, especially when Parting is played as greedy as he has. His second Nexus is already done. How is that going to help his production? It is going to allow him to take that second gas, so the gas steal is not as deadly, but is it going to come at the cost of being able to produce enough to defend against Void Rays, Kozan?
Well, with some proper micro and that shield battery there, it could be, right? It should be, but I mean, SOS here also in a position where he will have those shield batteries. He's going to have his own gateway overall. was it 1 gateway versus 2 gateways, so maybe.
He did turn down the
For
second.
both ways, it's winnable, right? I guess that shield battery for parting here, it's a little bit exposed to Void Race because, well, he has no idea he's going to be playing against Void Race just yet. Oh, and also that 1 pylon, actually. If he targets down the 1 pylon, that's going to shut down all the production.
He did get a second pylon thrown down onto the right, but again, that's just very, very limited amount here. And I think he was actually using it to try and block. Oh, he absolutely was. So he is going to replace that pylon, but he's going to be placing it a little bit further back, so it is a bit more protected here. But that first Void Ray finding a lot of damage. The second Void Ray is going to be out already, and killing off the shield battery almost immediately. That second shield battery is not yet on the field, and every Void Ray that hits the map here, Kozan, it gets just more and more deadly for parting.
Yeah, he's just microing back and forth right now. These Stalkers, they need to get to a number where they can actually one-shot this Void Ray force. And they're getting close, but a little bit off of the correct number. Starting to lose gateways now, that is definitely a problem. He's no longer in a position where he can make those extra probes. So even though he has a second Nexus, it's not really helping him too much. He's mining pretty much the same still as SOS.
Oh, the shield battery holds on with the warp gate there. That was a clutch save. It was 1 second away from destruction, but bringing that back to 50% health is going to be enough just to hold on. But is it just delaying the inevitable here? These Void Rays still have full health. They all have full shield, and there's still 2 shield batteries that have a significant amount of not information, energy left back on them. So finally that forward weak warp gate is going to go down. Only now remaking that gateway back on the backside of this base, but now it's a second gateway that's already picked off. There's no more production right now. That 1 warp gate is just now getting itself put in, but again, 1 is not going to be near enough here, not with any of the amount of shield batteries, not with the amount of army that SOS has pushing here. This is starting to look dire.
Yeah, and more infrastructure goes down. It's a bit more open now for those Stalkers to maneuver around. As long as parting holds his natural, I mean, you know, he's gonna be good because he has the 2 Nexus versus 1. But that army supply, yeah, it's looking brutal.
Just limited production is the name of the game right now, and these Void Rays can get so much damage done. They're going to turn on their prismatic alignment and start roasting these Stalkers into dust. More and more of those shield batteries do get picked off. The Stalkers on the ground for SOS providing a lot of great coverage here. Now the Stalker count is so low for parting, these Void Rays are able to just dive on in. They don't need to stutter back. Parting has to tap out, and SOS advances on to Code A.